This is Life with Kojo Baffoe, and I'm sitting out at Design Indaba on day 2. And I've taken the opportunity to grab one of the designers whose talk I heard yesterday, really interesting talk. It's Yinka Ilori. Let's just go straight to it. So how does a Nigerian British boy end up designing furniture?
Bloody hell. I remember I used to always love, I loved cars, I loved furniture, and I always remember I used to break these objects into pieces because I was always interested in how things worked. But before that, I was always interested in fine art. So I loved fine art before, and discovered I can't make any money from fine art. So I did a degree, a foundation course in art and design for 1 year. So I did graphic design, furniture making, I did photography, I did textile design, and I discovered I was good with my hands. So I ended up doing furniture design.
What was the reaction at home, to go, I'm going to do furniture? I mean, I have a West African father, to say, okay, I'm going to do furniture design, or even just graphic design.
You know what their response was. It was like, you want to be a designer? It was more, be a doctor, be an engineer, be a lawyer, because my cousins were doctors and lawyers and they were making loads of money. So they were thinking, okay, you can't be a designer. You need to be something, something that's going to bring, the family money and yourself money. So maybe they were thinking more about themselves. But after finishing my degree, they saw I was doing exhibitions and I was traveling and I was living off my career. And they were proud and really happy, yeah. But in the beginning, it was quite hard to persuade them.
So how do you navigate that, being, you're British, you were born there, that's where you've grown up, but you still have your roots, very strong roots on the African continent. And being able to bring the Africanness, or, having your identity as an African also manifest in your creativity.
Yeah. I think for me, I've always been a bit jealous of my parents because they were born in Nigeria and they've got so much culture instilled in them. As for me, I was confused because I had a British heritage and I was Nigerian. So I was like, where do I fit in and how do I express my culture? I wasn't confident to wear the traditional Nigerian clothes. I couldn't wear the agbada, the fila. And my mum would wear the gilly and the buba and everything. They were proud. I was, but I wasn't as bold as them because I was either being told you look weird or what are you wearing, and people would laugh and snigger. Fine, but for me, furniture and was my medium of expressing my culture, my identity. So using how my mum uses color, how color made her happy. She would wear pink and orange, and she was for me a queen of color. She was proud to use color, and same as my dad. So using my language, my culture. The fabrics we wear, the language we speak, the food we eat, just trying to encompass that in an object like a chair. And for me, it's an easy way of starting a conversation with someone. As we're here together, we're sitting in a chair now, I'm having a conversation. So it was an easy way of starting, thought-provoking conversations with people.
One of the interesting things you have talked about is your use of parables, and letting that now kind of inspire and drive how you. I know. It's always hard to describe creativity, but what's your relationship with the parables, and then how do you then translate that into a physical piece of art or a piece of furniture?
Yeah. For me, my parents were really tough with us. They were really strict and wanted us to get an education because they left Nigeria about over 30 years ago. So they wanted us to have a better life and be someone, And my parents always taught us parables about being good, about being empowering, really inspiring parables that made no sense to me when I was young. But over the years, they came back to me and made sense to me. So for me, it was important to use those parables and share it with the world. Use it in the furniture and tell people how powerful they are and how they could change your life. So that's the importance for me of those parables because it made me who I am today.
And so what does your life look like today? I mean, what's the life of a life of a furniture designer? When you wake up in the morning, how does your day run? For the average person, it's you wake up, you get dressed, you go to the office.
But no, for me, first thing is I go for a run. That's my important thing. I go for a run. I'm always looking at parables, new ways of working. I look at parables from Ghana. Parables from Nigeria, parables from Nairobi, parables from Swaziland. So I'm always looking at words and I'm reading and seeing how I can incorporate new parables into new furniture and how I can tell new stories. So yeah, that's sort of my day to day. And then also finding furniture that can tell stories, because what I do is I find a lot of old objects, old furniture from wherever in the world, and I want to understand the parable of that particular chair. So I'm unraveling, who's had the chair, what emotion the person had on that chair, who sat on the chair, and then using my own heritage and my culture and putting it into the chair. So it's a eclectic mix of parables that's ongoing and passed on.
In essence, you're bringing the different contexts together.
Exactly.
Your past and present context, as well as the past context of that piece of furniture, and then creating something new moving forward.
I think it's really powerful because I think, my parents, have so much culture and so much heritage, and they tell me lots of stories. So furniture has stories, and we don't know their stories, but I always say if chairs could talk, what would they say? They could say lots of things. They could say, sad things, positive, lots of things. And I think people can learn from objects, chairs. But I think we take chairs for granted because they're objects we just think, oh, it's a chair, it's comfortable. But if we think about chairs, we do a lot on chairs. We sit on a chair now and I'm thinking, we're having a conversation. We trust the chair to hold our secrets. But we don't trust people that way. But we sit, it's quite a soulful thing.
Yeah, and you'll just pull up a chair. You'll literally just pull up a chair without thinking about
Exactly, yeah. It's like a norm, but I don't know, it's like you wouldn't sit on someone's lap, you wouldn't. You'd ask them, can I? But you just sit on a chair, you don't even ask the chair, can I sit down? You just take a seat. That's interesting, that relationship between sort of a human and a chair. It's a special bond.
And what does the future look like for you now?
For me, I've got some work in doing a show in South Korea in May, and it's a continuation of a show I did in London called A Swimming Pool of Dreams. And it looks at my parents and my sort of upbringing, where religion and praying was really powerful and prominent at home, because my parents, again left Nigeria and they left all their family and friends, and religion was really important to them because that's all they had. So I looked at 5 characters from my church, and they prayed for good health. They prayed for children. They prayed to have children. They prayed to not be deported back to Nigeria. They had all sorts of issues, and as an African, these are things I saw day to day with people who were trying to strive for a better life. So I told those people and their narratives, and it will be a part 2 of it will be more of a celebration. So they got their passport. They had kids. They had triplets. So it's a celebration of prayer and faith, and just showing if you have hope and you believe in something, that your dreams can come true. So it's a celebration.
Cool, man. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, man. Cheers.
That's Yinka Ilori from Britain as well as Nigeria. I mean, you can never lose your, I guess once an African, always an African, whether you like it or not.